Hello, everyone, and welcome back to MS Dina English. I'm Dina, and I'm very happy you're here with us today.
And I'm Tom. It's great to have you with us again. Maybe you were listening at home, on your way to work, or while you were taking a short break from a busy day.
Wherever you are, make yourself comfortable. Today, we are going to talk about something that many English learners struggle with: how to build a simple English routine when you are busy.
Yes, and this is a very practical topic because many people want to improve their English, but they also have work, family, studies, errands, and many other responsibilities.
Sometimes people think they need 1 or 2 free hours every day to study English, but that idea can make learning feel impossible.
Exactly. If you are busy, you may look at your schedule and think, I don't have enough time. Then you postpone your English practice until tomorrow.
And tomorrow becomes the next day, and the next day becomes next week.
Yes, and suddenly you realize that you have been planning to study English for 3 weeks without actually studying it.
So today, we want to look at a different way of thinking. You do not need a perfect schedule. You need a realistic routine that fits your real life.
And the important word here is realistic. A realistic routine is something you can actually continue even when your day is not perfect.
Before we talk about specific routines, let me ask you a simple question. How much time do you really have for English every day?
Think about your normal day, not your perfect day. Maybe you have 10 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes during lunch, or 20 minutes before you go to bed.
Maybe you travel to work by bus or train. That time can also become useful English time.
Or perhaps you have a few quiet minutes while you drink your coffee. You can listen to English instead of scrolling through your phone.
You see, English practice does not always need a special place, a special notebook, and a long study session.
It can become part of things you already do. This is one of the easiest ways to create a routine that lasts.
For example, imagine that you normally drink coffee every morning. You can connect that habit with English. While you drink your coffee, listen to 5 or 10 minutes of simple English.
After a few weeks, your brain can begin to connect coffee time with English time.
That is called habit stacking. It means connecting a new habit to an existing habit.
Let's make that phrase very clear. A habit is something you do regularly, often without thinking much about it.
And stacking means putting one thing together with another thing. So habit stacking means adding a new habit to an existing habit.
You can use this idea in many ways. After breakfast, review 5 English words.
After lunch, listen to a short English conversation.
When you walk outside, repeat a few English sentences in your head.
Before you sleep, write 3 simple sentences about your day.
These activities are small, but small does not mean useless.
In fact, small activities can be powerful because they are easier to repeat.
Let's compare 2 different plans. Imagine one person says, I will study English for 2 hours every Saturday.
That sounds serious, but it may be difficult to maintain. Saturday can become busy, and after a few weeks, the person may stop.
Now imagine another person says, I will practice English for 15 minutes every weekday.
That sounds much smaller, but it may be easier to continue. 5 days of 15 minutes is already 75 minutes a week.
And if you add a little listening while you travel or do simple tasks, you can create even more exposure to English.
Exposure is another useful word. In language learning, exposure means the amount of English you hear, read, or see.
You do not have to understand every word. Your brain benefits from regular contact with the language.
This is especially important for listening. If you listen to English regularly, your ears slowly become more comfortable with the sounds, rhythm, and speed.
At first, natural English can sound very fast. You may think, how can people speak like that?
But after regular listening, some phrases start to sound familiar. You begin to recognize common expressions without translating every word in your head.
That is why a busy person's routine should include some listening whenever possible.
And it does not always have to feel like studying. You can listen while walking, cleaning your room, cooking, or traveling. These moments can become useful parts of your routine. Another useful part of a busy English routine is choosing what to practice. When your time is limited, you do not want to spend 20 minutes deciding what to study.
Exactly. If you open your phone and search for something every time, you can waste half of your study time before you even begin.
So it helps to prepare your English activities in advance. You can decide the night before what you will listen to, read, or practice.
This makes your routine much easier because the decision has already been made.
For example, you might decide that Monday is mainly for listening, Tuesday is for speaking, Wednesday is for vocabulary, and Thursday is for reading.
And Friday can be a review day when you go back to the expressions and ideas you practiced during the week.
You do not have to follow this exact plan. The important thing is to have some structure.
Structure is useful because it reduces the amount of thinking you need to do before you start.
Let's imagine a busy person named Alex. Alex works full-time, has a family, and usually feels tired at the end of the day.
Alex wants to improve English, but every evening there seems to be another responsibility.
On Monday, Alex comes home late and thinks, I should study English, but I'm exhausted.
So Alex does nothing and promises to study for 1 hour tomorrow.
On Tuesday, the same thing happens. There is work, dinner, messages, and a few things to finish at home.
By Wednesday, Alex starts feeling guilty because the English practice has not happened.
This is a common pattern. The problem is not always a lack of motivation.
Sometimes the problem is that the plan is simply too large for the person's current life.
If Alex changes the plan from 1 hour to 15 minutes, the situation becomes very different.
15 minutes feels possible. It does not require a huge amount of energy.
Alex can sit down after dinner, put the phone away, and listen to a short English conversation.
After listening, Alex can choose 2 useful sentences and repeat them several times.
That is already a complete English practice session.
And the next day, Alex can do something different instead of repeating exactly the same activity.
This is where variety can help. If every day feels exactly the same, you may become bored.
One day you can listen, another day you can read, and another day you can speak.
You can also watch a short English video, describe your day aloud, or review phrases from a previous lesson.
The goal is not to make every session exciting. The goal is to make English easy enough to return to.
I really like that idea, easy enough to return to.
Yes, because consistency is more valuable than intensity when you are building a long-term language habit.
Intensity means doing something with a lot of effort or energy. Consistency means continuing regularly.
So studying for 3 hours once a month may feel intense, but it is not very consistent.
10 or 15 minutes several times a week can be much more useful.
Especially if those minutes are focused and connected to your goals.
Now let's talk about mornings. Some busy people prefer to practice English early in the day because their mind feels fresh.
But mornings are not perfect for everyone. Some people wake up slowly and do not want to think about grammar before breakfast.
I understand that completely. If someone asks me a difficult English question 5 minutes after I wake up, I may need coffee first.
That is why a routine should fit the person, not the other way around.
If mornings work for you, you can create a short morning routine.
For example, listen to 5 minutes of English while getting ready.
Then review 3 expressions while you eat breakfast.
Finally, say 1 or 2 sentences about what you plan to do that day.
You could say, today I have a busy day, but I want to finish my work before 6.
Or, I have a meeting this morning, and after work, I'm going to spend 15 minutes practicing English.
These sentences are useful because they connect English to your real life.
And that's one of the best ways to learn. Instead of studying only sentences you will never use, practice language that describes your actual world.
If your day is busy, talk about your day. If you work in an office, learn phrases related to your work.
That way, your routine stays connected to the life you already have, and English becomes a natural part of your day in a simple way.
Another good time for English practice is during your commute. If you travel to work, school, or another place regularly, you may already have 10, 20, or even 30 minutes available.
Instead of seeing that time as empty time, you can turn part of it into listening practice.
You can listen to a podcast, a short story, an English conversation, or a lesson that matches your level.
And if you hear a useful sentence, pause the audio and repeat it.
This is called shadowing. Shadowing means listening to someone speak and then repeating what they say, usually trying to copy their pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation.
You do not need to shadow for 30 minutes. Even 5 minutes can be useful.
You can choose 3 or 4 sentences and repeat each one several times.
For example, you might hear, "I've been really busy lately, but I'm trying to make more time for myself."
Then you repeat it slowly first.
"I've been really busy lately, but I'm trying to make more time for myself."
Then you try again at a more natural speed.
"I've been really busy lately, but I'm trying to make more time for myself."
This kind of practice can help you become more comfortable speaking naturally.
And because the sentence is connected to a common situation, you may remember it more easily.
Another important part of a busy routine is speaking. Many learners listen and read a lot, but they do not give themselves enough opportunities to speak.
You do not always need another person to practice speaking. You can talk to yourself.
I know that sounds strange at first.
It does, but it works. You can describe what you were doing while you were getting ready in the morning.
You can say, "I'm getting ready for work. I need to find my keys. I'm running a little late today."
Or you can talk about your plans. "After work, I'm going to buy some groceries, and then I'll make dinner."
These sentences may seem simple, but they train your brain to produce English without waiting for someone to ask you a question.
And if you make a mistake, that is completely fine. The goal is communication and practice, not perfection.
Another useful technique is the 1-minute speaking challenge.
Choose one simple topic and speak about it for 1 minute without stopping.
Your topic could be your job, your family, your weekend, your favorite food, or something you did yesterday.
The first time may feel difficult. You may stop after 20 seconds because you cannot think of another sentence.
But if you repeat the same activity regularly, your speaking becomes easier.
You can also record yourself on your phone and listen to the recording later.
This can help you notice pronunciation problems, repeated words, or moments when you hesitate.
And do not be too critical when you listen to yourself. Almost everyone sounds a little strange when they hear their own recorded voice.
That is very true. We are used to hearing our voice from inside our head, so recordings can feel surprising.
The important thing is to use the recording as information, not as a reason to feel embarrassed.
Now let's talk about vocabulary. Busy learners often try to memorize huge lists of words.
And then they forget most of those words a few days later.
A better approach is to learn fewer words, but use them more often.
For example, choose 5 useful words or phrases each week.
Then make your own sentences with them.
If you learn the phrase catch up, you can say, "I need to catch up on my work."
Or, "I called my friend because we needed to catch up."
When you use a phrase in different situations, it becomes more familiar.
You can also keep a small vocabulary list on your phone. Whenever you hear an expression that seems useful, write it down and review it later.
But remember, your vocabulary list should not become another source of pressure.
Exactly. You do not need 50 new words every day. 5 useful expressions can be enough. Now let's build a simple routine for someone who has only 15 minutes.
The first 5 minutes can be listening. Choose a short English conversation and listen carefully.
The next 5 minutes can be speaking. Repeat some sentences or talk about your day.
And the final 5 minutes can be vocabulary review. Choose 2 or 3 useful expressions and make your own examples.
That is only 15 minutes, but it includes listening, speaking, and vocabulary.
On another day, you can replace vocabulary with reading or pronunciation practice.
The key is flexibility. A routine should guide you, not control you.
Some days you will have more time, and some days you will have less.
If you have 30 minutes, great. If you only have 5 minutes, do 5 minutes.
5 minutes is better than doing nothing because you are waiting for the perfect opportunity.
And there's another important idea. Do not punish yourself for missing a day.
Life happens. You may become sick, have an important meeting, travel somewhere, or simply have an unusually difficult day.
Missing one day does not destroy your progress.
The problem begins when one missed day becomes one missed week.
So, if you miss your routine, simply return to it the next day. No guilt, no dramatic promises, and no need to study for 3 hours to make up for it.
Just start again.
That simple attitude can make your English routine much more sustainable.
So let's bring everything together. If you are a busy person who wants to improve English, start by looking honestly at your schedule.
Find small spaces of time that already exist in your day.
Connect English to habits you already have, such as breakfast, commuting, walking, or getting ready for bed.
Include different skills, especially listening and speaking, but don't try to do everything every day.
Keep your sessions short enough that you can continue them even when life becomes busy.
And most importantly, focus on consistency instead of perfection.
Your English doesn't need to improve dramatically in 1 week. It can improve little by little through regular contact with the language.
So tonight, or whenever you have a quiet moment, look at tomorrow's schedule and choose one small English activity.
Maybe it will be 10 minutes of listening while you have breakfast.
Maybe it will be 15 minutes of speaking after work.
Or maybe you will listen to English during your commute and repeat a few useful sentences.
Whatever you choose, make it simple enough that you can actually do it.
Because a small routine that you follow is much more valuable than a perfect routine that you never start.
And remember, you do not need more free time to begin improving your English. You need to use some of the time you already have.
Start small, stay consistent, and let English become a natural part of your everyday life. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of Miss Dina English.